Hello and welcome to Math 141, Section 92, Introduction to Statistics. My name is Matt Lathrop. I'll be your instructor this semester. Before we dive into any assignments or material in the course, I just wanted to give you a brief introduction to some of the course content, walk through a few items in the syllabus, just to get you started. So what we're looking at right now is the announcements page, which is what you'll see every time you log into our course in MyLabs Plus. There are a couple of good things to check every time you log into our class. The first would be any recent announcements. So for instance, I've already got a welcome announcement posted in the course. You'll just want to make sure you read through that and any future announcements that get posted there. Another good piece of this first page to check will be your overall score and submission progress. So every time you log in, you're going to see an overall score, which will start with a 0 until we start completing some assignments. But you can very quickly just see your standing in the course. Are you getting an 80-something percent, 90-something percent, just to give you an idea of how well you're performing so far. There will also be a graph that will start to fill in with a breakdown of individual assignments to let you know how you're performing in the different areas of the class between homework, quizzes, exams, that sort of thing. If we click on that next tab down, we'll see the Start Here tab, which is where you actually found this video. So right now you're watching this video about the announcements in the course syllabus. Afterwards, you'll want to watch this video about how to navigate through the course, another orientation video on checking your progress and getting help in the course, and then finally there's just a campus safety video for you to look through. The syllabus tab we'll come back to in a second, but I just want to make sure you're aware that there's the Getting Help tab, which there's a video about some of the resources here. Excuse me. There's a link to the gradebook and an email tab on the left, so that you've got a way to get a hold of me as well as any classmates. So specifically, we want to spend some time talking about the syllabus, just to fill you in on some of the expectations for the course. You'll find my contact information to start off with right at the beginning. My office phone and office number are listed here along with my office hours. But what I'm going to tell you is that email is probably the best way to get in touch with me. Especially considering you're all online students and morning, early afternoon office hours might not be the most convenient for you. Absolutely feel free to stop in during those times, but email will be a great way to get in touch with me, and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as possible. There's some information here that we won't go through, but it would be a good idea for you to come back and take a look at. So the catalog description, some other information like that. In terms of required materials, there's actually only one thing you need to purchase for this course, which is an access code for MyLabs Plus. Access to StatCrunch, some statistical software we'll be using, is freely included with that. And a physical copy of the e-text is also optional because our course will include access to an electronic version of that text. But if you did want to purchase a physical textbook, you're more than welcome to do so. Let's see, we'll skip down to this use of technology section. So this being an online course, technology is going to be a large component of what we do. You need to make sure you have backup plans in mind or prepared in case of internet outages at home, if your personal computer breaks down. There are a number of different resources for you, including Heartland's computer lab in the library. You just want to make sure you have some backup plan so that you're not missing due dates. Your attendance is going to be a critical part of this course. Since we won't be meeting face-to-face, that's going to take the form of online discussions. There will typically be one discussion per week where you'll be asked to post 1 or 2 replies into a message board. So make sure you read through some of this information. Those do have a due date, so we need to make sure we're completing those all together during the same time period. This is also a midterm withdrawal policy for this course, which relates to your participation in those discussions. So if at midterm you've failed to access this course for 2 weeks without talking to me, if you failed to fully participate in more than 2 of those module discussions, or if you've not meaningfully attempted at least 70% of the assignments in this course, you may be withdrawn at midterm. Hopefully everyone will be involved working and completing assignments, staying in touch with me if anything is getting in the way of you completing assignments, so that doesn't have to happen, but just so you're aware. This course will require online homework, which will be completed through MyLabs Plus. There will be a due date for each of those assignments, But if something happens, you're not able to complete your assignments by the due date, you will be able to submit these assignments late with a 10% penalty. So that means even if you're getting some assignments completed late, you should be able to score at least a 90% on every homework assignment because you get an unlimited number of attempts on every assignment. There will also be weekly quizzes on non-exam weeks. So after you complete homework over some new material, there will be a quiz at the end of that week. Quizzes do have to be completed by the due date, or you'll receive a 0 for that quiz. Initially, you only get one attempt at each quiz, but if you earn a 95% or better on all of the homework for that module, you'll unlock a second attempt. So some encouragement to do well on the homework to help you perform a little bit better on the quizzes. There will be 3 regular exams this semester, which will be split into a proctored and take-home portion. The proctored portion will be similar to what you've probably experienced in other math courses. You would come into one of Heartland's testing centers, take an exam that will be similar to the homework and quiz questions that you've seen. There will also be a take-home essay-based section, which will be a little bit more of a written, longer form essay-based test. So that might be a little bit different compared to what you've seen in previous math classes. But we'll have some preparation for that throughout the semester as we get closer to that. Both of those portions of the exam will be open and due during the same time frame, so it'll just be up to you to determine how you want to tackle those 2 pieces of the exam. A cumulative final exam will also be required at the end of the semester. That will only cover a proctored portion, so there won't be a take-home or essay-based portion for that. The final exam must be completed in one of Heartland's testing centers, or you'll receive a 0 for the final exam and automatically fail the course. So regardless of how you're doing at the end of the semester, the final exam will still be required. But the final exam is also going to give you one of 2 opportunities for improving a low test score. Your percentage on the final exam can replace a low percentage on a previous proctored exam. And there will also be an optional take-home exam at the end of the semester to replace a previous take-home exam that maybe didn't turn out as well as you would have liked. So there are going to be a couple of opportunities throughout the semester to make up for some potentially low exam scores. You've got some information on exam release dates, grading structure for the course, grading scale, some important dates to keep in mind. Just to be aware, the last day to drop this course with a refund is September 2nd. Hopefully everyone gets enrolled, stays enrolled, and continues through to the end of the semester. But that date and November 9th being the last day to withdraw are just a couple of exit dates to be aware of if for some reason you're not going to be able to continue with the course. There's also a weekly schedule, which gives you an idea of the breakdown of how we'll be covering this material. We'll be following a pattern of covering 3 weeks of content. So in our first 3 weeks, we'll cover modules 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll take an exam over those 3 weeks of content. And that'll be pretty much our standard practice throughout the semester. Towards the end of the semester, we'll have that optional exam 4 that will open up, the opportunity to replace a low take-home score, the final exam, which is required, but can also replace a low proctored exam score. So these dates are subject to change, but for the most part, this being an online course, we typically don't fall behind. So you can rely on this calendar as something that's probably not going to change very much and can give you a pretty good idea of what to expect week to week throughout the semester. So that's sort of a brief introduction to the course. I would encourage you to click around through some of these different pages, read through the information on the syllabus a little bit more thoroughly, and then just feel free at any point to get in touch with me if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great semester.